Barbara Cavanagh, Provisioning and Billing Manager at Voiteck. Firstly, thank you. Thank you for being part of Voiteck and also being part of the Voiteck Connect. Our little bit of investigation about what some of our customers are, what some of our partners are, and also what some of our staff are as well, which is great. You wear a number of hats inside of Voiteck. You've been with Voiteck for a while now, but your last role is actually being the Optus Provisioning Manager. What does that look like? And tell us a bit about the story about Optus and what Voiteck is doing with Optus.
Oh, the story of Optus. Well, Optus I've been really, really impressed with. Having been an ex-employee in a cell phone industry, it's been interesting sitting on the other side of the fence and doing it from a dealer perspective. I think one of the benefits that I hold is knowing both sides of the fence, and also the fact that I understand our business really, really well, and where to go internally to get things done and where to go externally to get things done. I love understanding people's businesses, how they work, how they operate and who they are. It's one of my passions that I really enjoy as part of my role. And that means that kind of I'm a bit of a salesperson as well as part of my role because of my passions. And because I'm passionate about Voiteck and our team, I think that's what we do and how we do it well.
So what do you specifically do for Optus in bringing customers on board?
So my role really is taking over once sales has finished. They hand me the file and I take it from there. So that's getting the customer up and running, ensure that we're compliant with all Optus's regulations from start to finish, and making sure that the customer gets the goods at the end of the day and gets a facility that they wanted.
And it's all about our onboarding experience and making sure that the customer, because it is a bit of a change for them. We do it every day, but what does that experience look like?
I think we're trying to change the way we onboard people and make it more customer friendly. In the past, customers would have received a box with a phone in it, their SIM card, off you go, connect it, do it yourself. Voiteck like to think we're more customer centric in what we do and more customer focused in that we deliver to them not the box, we deliver to them Optus and Voiteck as a combination.
Brilliant, that sounds wonderful. So how long have you been with Voiteck for and what made you join Voiteck?
I've been with Voiteck now for 9 years.
Wow.
10 years, one more year and I'm up for long service. What made me join Voiteck, I joined well back in the early days, was the flexibility. So I came on to work 18 hours a day and 18 hours a week, I should say.
I'll call that.
And that worked really well. I had young kids. It just meant that I wouldn't be overwhelmed at home and at work.
And being a return to work mum, that's certainly a segment of the market which are amazing, and bringing those back into the workforce. How did that actually work for you?
In terms of what?
In terms of coming back into the workforce, how did that feel to be a return to work mum?
Look, I think it's always a scary concept when you've been out of the workforce for a long period of time. And for me, I lacked confidence, I think, and what skills would I bring to the table. And for me, it was all about, I couldn't even remember how to use a computer properly. And I forgot what skills I did have in terms of who I was and who I represented and what I offered. So, yeah, I've forgotten your question now.
So I think one of the areas I was focusing on is that real life and work balance, and having the young children at home and then also forging yourself into the corporate career.
Yep.
How do you find that?
Look, that work-life balance, does it actually exist? We talk about the three-legged stool. TED Talks has got various conversations on how to get that balance, and I really don't know that it exists in true form. And I'm a believer that sometimes you have to give more to yourself, sometimes you have to give more to work, and sometimes you have to give more to your kids. And it's about where you're at and how you place those priorities. You can't always get it right. So sometimes your kids are eating baked beans on toast for dinner. That's just the way it is. But I think as long as you're happy and as long as life is working for you, and you're coexisting with everything that's around you, is what it's all about. Because that's what life is, and that's not such a bad thing to be on a little bit of a roller coaster. That's how life works.
And so if you take yourself back 10 years and you said, what sort of advice would you love to have been given when you were coming back into the workforce? What sort of advice would you give to somebody now that's coming back into the workforce after having children?
I think the biggest one would be don't sweat the small stuff. I think that organisation is key at home to enable you to get away. I think also to really remember the skills of who you are and what you bring to the table, and don't focus on what you don't have. You can always learn new skills, you can always learn new things. Remember who you are and go with confidence. And Wonder Woman's just a fantasy. She doesn't exist. Accept that and move on.
So you've been with Voiteck for 9 years now. You would have had some hilarious moments and probably some moments where you think, oh my word, what have I done now? And then there would be some real proud moments for you. What sort of stuff just jumps out to you today?
I think for me, if I look at from a base perspective, it's learning. My learning and the fact that my brain isn't in decline on a daily basis. We work at Voiteck in an industry that is just so fast moving. It doesn't stop. Things change all the time. So I love the fact that I'm learning all the time and learning what we do, how to do it, new skills, onboarding with Optus and learning all their processes and learning their skills, I think is really exciting. There's that. I think I also love the fact that there's a lot of my first customers that I ever had anything to do with that I still have a relationship today and still call me to get things done. So I love that we are a small enough business that I'm still able to get involved in every aspect.
Brilliant. So now your children, so you've got a boy and a girl, 18 and 15. What advice would you give to them going into the workforce as they grow older and go into that workforce now?
I think it's always important to be humble. I think it's always important that just because you think you know, you don't necessarily know, and that sometimes we can learn to do things differently than how we've done things all our lives. And that's not such a bad thing.
Brilliant. They're very wise words from a very wise lady. So Barbara Cavanagh, firstly, thank you for being part of the Voiteck family. Thank you for being part of Voiteck Connect today. And thank you for making a difference to the world around you. Good on you.
Thanks.